getting ready to go camping in Algonquin this weekend. Actually, I didn't plan the specifics for once, so what I can tell you is that we are going to be hiking an area called the Highlands, and we're going about 12 or 13 kilometers into a lake. We've booked a site, and we're going to stay over and then return the next day. As I was packing Bertha, that's the name of my pack, by the way, I realized I couldn't find my stuff sack for my winter sleeping bag. I really want the winter sleeping bag to this weekend because there could be snow. There was snow this past Sunday when we went up to the Eugenia area to hike up there. After work, I ran down to MEC and I got myself a 10-liter stuff sack. Actually, what I did is I went down to MEC with my sleeping bag, which probably takes up my entire pack, 60-liter pack I believe I have. And I got down there with my sleeping bag and asked them if I could experiment with the 10-liter and the 20-liter stuff sacks. Crossing my fingers that the 10-liter would work, and I didn't actually 100% successfly get it in, but I am very, very certain that I'm going to manage to do it. My summer one fits in a 5-liter, and it takes a lot of effort, and I think it's going to take about the same amount of effort for this one. Currently, this is the stuff sack that my sleeping bag came in. I have an MEC Aquilina -12 degree, and I love it. This is my sort of attempt to see if it would fit. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that task actually took way less than I thought it would. Since I'm already here with some other things, of course, I picked up from MEC because, you know, you go there and you have to pick up other things. This was part of the packaging of the stuff sack, and they asked me if I wanted it. Like, I had already stuck my sleeping bag in the stuff sack before I left, but I said yeah. Then I just was unpacking it and realized that I'm really glad that I said yes, because I love to repurpose things. And this came with this very nifty tie that is also like a Velcro, but like not the kind of Velcro that rips and catches on things. So I feel like this could be really, helpful for something, and it's so lightweight. I'm going to stick it on the outside of my pack. I also picked up another one of these. I already put one in my first aid kit for the weekend, so in case it gets even colder than I'm prepared for, I am going to, I think, bring this one instead of the other one, because this is a little cheaper. If something happens to it, I don't care as much. I'm always on the lookout for a handy hip pack with some specific requirements, and I think I found one. So we might do a part 1 and a part 2 because I literally just purchased it and I haven't tried it out yet. But I found this Arc'teryx one at MEC, and other than the awesome vibrant colors that I also love, I noticed it had this pocket in the back, and it fits your phone, and I think it would probably fit my little camera as well. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going to test it out this weekend. Another thing I'm debating bringing is to see if I can shove this in my pack. It's basically a sit-upon. It has some eggshell foam, and this was also dollar store tablecloth. Good news is I was able to get the sleeping bag into the bottom compartment. Everyone says put the heaviest stuff on the bottom, but sometimes it's just not practical. Okay. As I said, this is a nice to have. There's also, I could possibly strap this to the outside, so it is waterproof. This is my tent poles and pegs. This is the stuff sack for the tent. It possibly could go smaller, but it's cinched as tight as it will go. And this is what I used to put my sleeping bag in. then I also have to put in the platypus water filter. Yeah, I've got everything in there. I might put that in the front pocket. So I'll do that for now. This is another thing that I've been debating bringing. It is quite compact and squishy and lightweight. It's a feather blanket. You probably have seen these at Costco many years ago now. I'd love to get my hands on a couple more, but I haven't been able to. So this is another nice to have, and I really want to make sure that it makes it. So I'm going to stick it in my pack for now. I just realized I didn't put the first aid kit in. This is my sleeping stuff. It has some long underwear that has merino wool in it, has some socks that are wool, extra socks for hiking, and underwear. So that's all I really need. The rest I'm probably going to be wearing, but I will organize that tomorrow. And then the rest, of course, is my food stuff, which needs to get in here. I just got back yesterday from backpacking in Algonquin Park. We hiked the Highlands Trail. We hiked about 15 kilometers. We went past Provoking Lake and Faya Lake. And I believe we camped on a site called Head Lake. I was trying to look it up on the map, but I couldn't find it, and I washed the paper copy that I had, so sorry. But anyway, so we camped on the east side of the lake, and we had a spectacular sunset, which I'm going to share with you in a moment.
So we're going down here to Provoking, then coming along here, past Faya, through the lookout, and then down to site 1, which is this one right there.
Okay. That seems so far, even though I know it's just a scale. But...
Yeah, so that's 4.3, that last section there, plus a little bit scale.
It turned out I hadn't washed the map after all, and found it in a pocket that I hadn't searched yet. This is where we parked, and then we followed this path, and we went by Provoking Lake. And then there's the Faya Lake. So we came around this way and then continued on. It's kind of hard to see, but there's 3 campsites, and we stayed at this end right here, which I guess is the east end because we saw the sunset directly across the lake, which would have been the west side. Aww. East or west? Highlands backpacking can add up to 8 hours to walk.
8 hours, okay, even better. Well, they assume you go slow.
Oh, awesome.
You are here, that is always helpful. See, We're at the bottom of Provoking Lake.
Okay. Oh yeah, it is overgrown. Oh yeah, it's a bit better here. Aren't you glad that we carried on? Oh, this is perfect. We basically walked until we got there, and I don't think we got into sight until almost 4, so we set, I think, oh, actually it was 3:40. We got into sight at 3:40. We set up our tents, we got the fire going, and that fire, it was beautifully built, whomever did it there, but it is kind of precarious because it's like right on the rock ledge, and I can just imagine how many people have fallen off that rock into the lake and gotten wet. later with our non-quesadillas. Well, one of the other campers bought the naan, and then we all brought our own toppings, and then we wrapped them in foil and put them in the fire. It was neat to see what everyone brought and how different everyone's was. So I've got the blowing of the fire going.
That is so smart with
it. It is.
And he can burn it tomorrow. It's just perfect. He doesn't have to carry it out. And his idea. It's the ultra lightest possible tube. What if you used a fruit roll up for this?
Our dessert were 2-bite brownies with marshmallows and peanut butter if you wanted. And then we just had fun, and then we went to bed. We had a full moon. We could see the light of the moon coming from the east, but by the time it started rose, the clouds set in, and we didn't get to see the eclipse that evening. But we did see a beautiful shooting star. I delight in shooting stars. Well, it snowed. What else happened? I'm also notorious for being very attuned to what's happening in our campsites. I'm a bear right here, so of course I heard all sorts of different noises. What's happening? Of course I heard all sorts of noises in the night from my tent mates around me, you know, just people stirring, a couple little snores here and there. And I heard a super large animal come through our site at one point. Surprisingly quiet. I could just hear like these heavy but soft forelegs on the ground. It went up to a tree that was a little up from me, and it, I don't know, rubbed on it. I was lying as still as possible because it was big, which means one of two things, neither of which I want to, you know, startle. So a bear or a moose. And for some reason I thought it was a bear because it was so quiet and it seemed kind of lower to the ground. I heard it also breathe through its nostrils. I heard that happen a couple times. It went by my tent, didn't touch the tent, didn't catch on the guy lines, very agile. And it went by another tent and then a third, sort of in between, I think, 2 tents that were on the way to the water where we were. And I'm like, okay, I guess this animal just is thirsty and it's going for water. I was then listening for the bear hang and I didn't hear anything get disturbed. Our bear hang was questionable, though one other camper thought that they heard there was activity at the bear hang. And when we checked on the bear hang, everything was fine. After we packed up and we started heading out of camp for the day, we saw several moose tracks.
Oh yeah, nice and mucky. Mud flats here. It almost looks like there's a heart right there in the middle.
We all stopped at Weber's for dinner and headed home.